What do you think? It's a facelift. It's not a new studio, but work in progress. We're not quite done yet. Some things we want to do, but I didn't want to stop making videos, so you'll see the rest of it later. Now today we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting coffee grinder, and that's a hand grinder from Wacaco. We're going to talk about its price in a second, but this is made by Wacaco, and so they make the PicoPresso, the NanoPresso, these little portable pods that brew espresso on the go. So you'd want something portable to go with it. It has some competition in the market today, like, well, the Normcore grinder, which I've said it's a great grinder in a budget range. It's not perfect either. And then one of my personal favorite grinders on the market under $200, which is the EasyPresso JX. Now this one is a little bit more money, but this, in my opinion, is the gold standard. So we're gonna compare these three today. And at the end of this video, I want you to know, is this a good grinder? Does it brew filtered coffee well? Does it brew espresso well? And most importantly, does it brew espresso well on the Wacaco PicoPresso? So let's dive into this. Can you just scroll down on this video, tamp that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm? It truly means the world. And then comment down below what your favorite espresso brewer is. I'm just curious on this community what those results would be, and I'm gonna read every comment down below. So we'll see you down there. Now, the budget. This is $120 bucks. So right off the bat, I like that. I like grinders under $150. I think it allows a lot more accessibility into creating coffee, and especially from a quote unquote brand name like Wacaco, they could have charged more. Now this one here uses a 20-gram chamber, so it's not gonna be massive by any means. I mean, you can see its size beside the PicoPresso here. This is not a big grinder. Now the thing with this Burr set, let's open it up and you can see, this is a 6-core design and it grinds pretty good. Okay, it has great results in the cup and it grinds fast. Now we're gonna come back to its Burr and its design, what I think about it, because they have designed something here that is similar to other grinders in different price ranges, and I've got thoughts on that. But really, you wanna know the features. Why would you buy this grinder in the first place, right? So this is the Wacaco Exagrind, which means it's very similar design to the PicoPresso. I mean, it's supposed to be at least, right? So this one has the exact same rubber grip, and then the same aluminum base here with the knurling here, which I think is really cool. If you have a PicoPresso, you want something to match aesthetically, that would be a big reason to buy this grinder. Not only that, this is supposed to be a travel-friendly grinder. This here folds up. So you use the handle, you grind, but then what you do is this handle actually is awkwardly shaped for a reason, because it's also the lid for this grinder. Hey, look at this. You know, it folds up, the handle gets nice and compact. You can throw this in a bag. You know, it's unique, it's innovative. For me, it's a bit gimmicky, only because this doesn't have any friction, right? As you can see there, I can just lift that off so it doesn't stick. So a little magnet in there would go a long way, or tightening this so that it's not so loose. A little more friction as you pull, I don't know. It's okay. I do like that there's some kind of storage solution here. For me, it's not a reason to buy this grinder though. But gimmicky things like that are okay if it brews good coffee, right? If the coffee tastes good, who cares if the lid doesn't really snap on at this price range? I mean, we still care. So let's brew some coffee, see how the coffee tastes. We'll brew some coffee on the Wacaco PicoPresso, and then we'll do a blind cup taste against the EasyPresso JX later in this video. So while I'm brewing up this PicoPresso, let me tell you about today's sponsor, which is Standart Magazine. Now, Standart Magazine is a specialty coffee magazine, and I cannot recommend them enough. They're absolutely incredible. They have incredible articles written by some of the best names in the industry with absolutely beautiful pictures to go along with them. Every page is printed on well-textured paper and beautiful prints. It's incredible to read. It's an amazing piece of art to put on a coffee table, but it's educational as well. Now, right now I'm reading an article called Kicked Out of Context, and this one's really interesting. I like it because it's all about taking fan culture that we are so adapt to as human beings and applying it to producers in the industry. You know, we celebrate a lot in coffee. We celebrate gear, we celebrate competitors, we celebrate these big people in the industry. Maybe you celebrate your favorite YouTuber. That's all great, and I appreciate that, but really who we should be celebrating is producers, the farmers, the people who really made this all happen. And this is really what this article is about. And it's articles like this that really just make me fall in love with specialty coffee and this magazine. Now I got you covered. If you want to check it out, Standart has free international shipping and coffee with every single order if you use the link down below. This month I got a coffee from Colombia, produced in Colombia and roasted in Colombia. Come on, that's absolutely incredible. So go check them out, and thank you Standart so much for sponsoring this video. So the coffee that the Exagrind makes, especially for espresso, is good. You know, it's very similar to other grinders that would have a similar Burr geometry. So what does that mean? It has a lot of clarity, it's got a good sweetness, not a ton of complexity. Now this grinder, Burr, is actually more similar to the Normcore. Now by no means is this a perfect grinder either. This is a little bit cheaper, but its Burr is very similar. They're not identical, but they're very, very close. And I've said in the past that the Normcore's Burr makes great coffee, right? It's delicious, it's got high clarity, some good sweetness, and if you're into that, if you like that high clarity style profile, maybe you don't want as much complexity in your cup, I said this is a great option. What I really love about this Burr for espresso is that it's fairly quick for the Burr size. Now at 38 millimeters, this isn't gonna be as fast as something like the JX, because this has a 48 millimeter Burr, and typically the bigger the Burr, the faster it can grind. Now this one here still grinds very fast. For espresso on a very fine setting, I'm grinding at around a minute. That's not bad for a 38 millimeter Burr, where this one here is about 45 seconds. Now, like I said, the espresso that it makes is pretty good. And yes, it can make espresso for the PicoPresso. Not without its flaws though. Right now I'm brewing at about click 15, and I noticed when I go to click 16, it was enough for this brewer because with the hand pumping, you know, you're kind of flow profiling in a way. So the micro adjustments you would need on some espresso machines aren't needed by any means. It's definitely got enough flexibility at 30 clicks per rotation, which is very similar to what the Easy Presso would be. This would also work really well with anything with flow control abilities, as you have a little more flexibility in the brew. But if you're pulling just 9-bar shots on, you know, an espresso machine, you may want something with a little more adjustability. But overall, for a hand espresso brewer like the PicoPresso or anything like it, it does the job really well. And the espresso creates is good, it's got good mouthfeel, it's, you know, a conical Burr, so everything you would expect there. It's got some good sweetness, and because of the Burr design, it's got a lot of clarity too, which is obviously a plus. So I think what we need to talk about is not so much the espresso that it creates for the PicoPresso, because we know it can do that. We know it can do it pretty well, and it's got the adjustability to do that no problem, and it's fast enough too. What I want to do is let's do a quick blind cupping between these two grinders and see if I can really tell the difference, because at $120 and this one here is just around 140, 150, you want to know which one should you buy out of these two, right? So let's do that. All right, so Natasha's come in, she swapped these around. No idea which one is which, but we're going to test and see if I can tell the difference between PicoPresso and the JX. Let's do this. Okay, they're very similar actually, I'm not gonna lie, they're very close. I mean, truthfully, Burr geometry wise, they are similar, but one is bigger. So if I had to pick which one was the JX, I think it would be this one because of its elevated clarity, and then there's an extra bit of sweetness in the aftertaste that just resonates more with me, and I know this grinder pretty well. This one here has a bit of a hollow aftertaste. It's not bad, but comparing it side by side, it's a little more evident. I think because of that, this one's the Exagrind. So let's check this out. Okay, yeah, so that's the JX, and obviously that would be the Exagrind. So yeah, perfect. So yeah, that makes sense. So who should buy this grinder? Should you just buy the JX or Normcore, or is this a grinder for somebody? I would say if you have a PicoPresso, that's an easy buy if you need a hand grinder, or maybe you just need a coffee grinder in general. Its ability to grind for the PicoPresso is there. It's got 30 clicks per rotation. But if you don't have the Pico, you're just looking for a hand grinder. Is this a grinder for you? I think it's still worth considering, because at $120, there aren't many grinders within that price range. Now the Normcore doesn't have the micro adjustments, at least not my model, that this one does. This one has 30 clicks per rotation. So this one for me is gonna be better for espresso every single time and worth that extra 20, 30 bucks in price. But that being said, the Normcore is still a great grinder, and it's still one of my highest recommendations for somebody who wants to spend very little and have decent results in the cup. And then we gotta talk about the Easy Presso JX. I've been using this for over a year now. It's the only grinder I didn't give to a patron. Every other grinder I've had to review, I gave away, right? You guys have them now. But this one I kept because I knew I'd want it in other videos upcoming, including one like this. This one here is still one of my top picks. If I had to choose between the two, quite honestly, I'm picking the Easy Presso. I prefer the build quality. I prefer the adjustments. The micro adjustments are a lot nicer to use on this. It's got more adjustability. I like this one more, but it is bigger, right? So if you want a compact grinder, I do understand why you'd want to go with something like this. And maybe the things I've shared don't matter to you. This has no option to snap this onto the side. This truly is more of like a stay at home or stay at the office grinder, where this one might be a throw in your bag kind of grinder. So be that what you will. But if you're asking my honest opinion, so if you want to check these grinders out, I'll leave links down below. Some are affiliate links, some support this channel. Sorry I haven't been posting as much lately, guys. I have been working on a lot behind the scenes. This channel is going to see some changes in the upcoming months, and I'm really, really excited to share with you guys. I'm working on a bunch, and I'm just excited to share. I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn that notification bell on if you're already subscribed and you haven't done that, so you know when new videos go live and you don't miss them. And if you want to support the channel and you want to win the Exagrind, I'll be giving this away at some point. You can sign up for my Patreon, and a Patreon will be getting this very soon. A link for that is down below. I love every single one of you guys. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Peace.